Today, we are not just talking about how to write a sustainability report. We are talking about why sustainability reporting has become a business survival tool, the same way financial reporting is. Over the next hour, I want you to walk away with one key mindset switch. Sustainability reporting is no longer about doing good. It is about staying bankable, investable, and competitive in a world shaped by climate risk, regulations, and stakeholder pressure. This is Heng Heng talking to you. I am the moderator for today and also one of the ISO 14064 GHG reporting lead verifier of Eco Sustainability Group. Together with me, speaker of the day, Alicia Wong. She's not just one of the ISO 14064 lead verifier, she's also a co-author in SBTI standard contribution. Welcome, everyone. A bit about us. Now, we help companies to kickstart their transformation journey towards sustainability. We headquartered in Singapore with teams across Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand, and the Philippines. You will meet them in the upcoming sessions of our bi-weekly free talks. Our main service is in sustainability reporting using standards such as the ISSB, which is baseline or for SR. SASB, the framework to disclose ESG data. ISO 14064, which is GHG reporting. ISO 14068, carbon neutrality, and ISO 14067, product carbon footprints. We have expertise for a total 16 standards, including assurance. Other than that, we do consulting, carbon credit projects, trainings. We are proud that we have a policy arm called Climate Policy Lab, where we do our standard contribution work. Yeah. What does the standard contributions mean? They are global standard setters like ISSB, SASB, SGH protocol, SBTI, VERA. Then there are standard users like a preparer, auditor, regulator, data companies. But there is a unique bunch of people who are in between standard setters and standard user. They are called standard contributors. And that is us in Eco Sustainability. So we provide technical commentary to the standard setter in order to continuously develop the standard via exposure draft and technical consultation. Okay. Just a few housekeeping points before we begin. The sessions is recorded for learning purposes, so please keep microphones muted to ensure clear audio. You can pose a question anytime in the chat. My team we will cover them during the Q&A sessions. And please feel free to ask anything. In sustainability, the only real mistake is staying silent and not learning. Okay? Okay, by the end of this session, you should be able to do 5 things. First, understand what the ISSB framework actually required, not in theory, but in business language. Second, see sustainability reporting as a strategic management tool, not just a compliance exercise. Third, understand the first practical step to start your own report, even if you are an SME. Fourth, gain confidence in discussing sustainability with management, auditor, banks, and clients. And finally, connect sustainability disclosure to long-term value creation, risk management, and access to capital. Over to you, Alicia.
Thank you very much, Heng Heng, for the great introduction. This is me, Alicia here. Everybody, hello, hello. So let's start with what sustainability reporting really is. So I like to think of it as your company's annual health checkup. So just like a doctor check your heartbeat, your blood pressure, and also the overall wellness. So sustainability reporting looks at your company's environmental and social vitals. So things like your energy used, your employee well-being, responsible sourcing, and also the governance practices. So your financial report tells you how much money you made this year. But your sustainability reporting tells you whether you can keep making money in the future without being disrupted by the rising cost, by the climate risk, or also or social issues. So just to keep it simple throughout this session, I will refer as SR. SR is a very common term right now in the market, and it will be always people talking about this. Okay, so before we go into frameworks and standards, we need to align one very important question. So what exactly do we mean by SR? So many people think SR is about looking good, showing nice photos of trees that you have planted, talking about charity, listing your CSR activities, cleaning the plastic bottles along the beach. No, no, no. So this is not what modern sustainability reporting is. So SR is essentially a business disclosure exercise. Let me repeat, business disclosure exercise. So it is a structured data-driven disclosure on how environmental, social, governance issues affect your business performance, your risk, and also your future cash flows. So this is why today's regulator, investors, or a lot of customers are no longer asking, hey, what are the good things are you doing? So they will be asking, tell me your risk. What are your numbers? So what's your plan? So they are asking questions like this now. So now that we have framed SR as a health checkup, so let's look at what it actually measures. So SR covers the three big areas that we often call ESG, which is a term that everybody is talking about. We even set the department called the Sustainability Team Department. We want to do ESG. Our company is very ESG aligned, very ESG oriented. We love the environment, we love the social, we love the governance. But actually, not many people know what is it really about. So ESG is E stands for environmental, S is social, and G is governance, and we will be talking about this as well. So in simple term, it answers three questions. Number one, are you managing your environmental footprint responsibly? The second question will be, are you taking care of the people and communities? And number three, are you running the business ethically and transparently? So these are the three simple questions you need to keep in mind. So together, these give a full, well-rounded picture on how sustainable and resilient the company really is, not just financially, but operationally and also socially as well. So SR isn't just about the environment, it's about how the entire organization behaves and performs. So now that we understand what SR covers, the next question is, where do companies actually begin? So in practice, most organizations start with the environmental data simply because it's the easiest to gather. Electricity bills, your fuel consumptions, your water usage. So these are already tracked for operational or finance purposes. So they naturally become the first pieces of the reporting puzzle. But this line, I want to clarify a little bit. Some companies still find that fuel consumption is very difficult to track. But we can start from there because electricity bill is easy, water usage is easy. Okay, so once that foundation is in place, so companies gradually move into the social and governance areas. So looking at topics like employee well-being, community impact, ethics, and also board oversight. So the ESG journey usually begin with what already measurable and then expands as the organization builds the maturity and confidence. In the beginning, you might struggle, but it's normal and it's okay. as long as you start doing it. All right. So once companies starts reporting, the next question is, why do they keep doing it? So essentially, SR is really about trust and transparency. So it helps investor, customers, and employees see that the business is well managed, responsible, and thinking long term. It also strengthens risk management, helping companies anticipate disruptions, supply chain issues, or regulatory changes before they become costly. And very often, SR leads to greater efficiency. So when you start measuring energy, water, your waste, you naturally uncover savings and also improvements. So beyond that, lenders and customers are increasingly assessing sustainability performance. So reporting can actually open doors to financing tenders and also new market opportunities. So companies report not just to comply, but because it makes them more resilient, more competitive, and more future ready. Let's go. So here's where SR becomes truly meaningful. So when companies begin compiling their ESG data, they often uncover insights that lead directly to better decisions. What does it mean? So whether that is reducing resource use, improving processes, or identifying hidden risks. And better reporting also opens up financial opportunities. So many banks now offer sustainability linked loans where stronger ESG performance can translate into preferential rates. So beyond financing, companies with credible SR tend to build stronger trust with customer, business partners, and regulators. And this increases competitiveness, especially for those supplying larger multinational clients. So in essence, SR goes beyond transparency. It enables smarter planning, stronger performance, and clearer value creation for the business. This was a bit overwhelming, and that was exactly the experience for many companies, even to us as well. So there are so many frameworks, guidelines, and ratings like GRI, SASB, TCFD, CDP, and even local stock exchange requirements, and none of them were fully aligned. So for businesses, they created a real question mark. So where do we start? Which one actually matters, and which one do investors pay attention to? So many companies genuinely wanted to report properly, but the landscape felt fragmented, duplicative, and to be honest, very, very exhausting. So for years, actually, SR wasn't a clear path. It felt like a maze. And the challenge was not willingly, it was fragmentation. So different frameworks asked similar questions in somehow different ways. Metrics were inconsistent, definitions were unclear, and most importantly, disclosures were often disconnected from financial performance. So this made sustainability look soft, even though the risks were very real. So in short, the problem wasn't like a lack of effort, it was lack of a clarity. So now that we have seen how confusing the ESG landscape used to be, and here's the good news, things are finally coming together. So I want you to remember this term, and this term is very important to you, and it's government aligned right now in Malaysia. So the ISSB, short for the International Sustainability Standards Board, was created specifically to solve this problem. So instead of companies trying to juggle GRI, SASB, TCFD, and others, so ISSB brings the most widely used frameworks into one global baseline for SR. So for business, this means that you finally have a clear starting point, a consistent, investor-focused standard that reduces duplication and also simplifies reporting. So in short, this ESG maze is finally being mapped out, and companies now have a much clearer and more streamlined path forward. So here's where everything starts to click. So instead of create a brand new system, The ISSB pulled together the strongest part of the existing frameworks companies were already using, unifying all of this into one consistent, globally recognized baseline. So we're making reporting clearer, more comparable, and much easier for companies to navigate. So that's why so many jurisdictions are now aligning with ISSB, and it finally gives everyone a common reporting language. So ISSB isn't just a concept on paper. It is being adopted worldwide. Jurisdiction representing all over half of a global GDP have either adopted ISSB or are actively moving towards alignment with ISSB. So the big picture is clear. ISSB isn't simply another framework. It is becoming a global reporting language. Regulators, investors, and capital markets are all pushing for one consistent baseline. So when your organization begins reporting using ISSB principles, you're not just meeting requirements, you are aligning with where global reporting is heading. So here's where ISSB become really practical. You can start thinking right now. So the entire standard is built around four simple pillars. Give it some thoughts, okay? Number one is governance. Number two is strategy. Number three is risk management. And number four is metrics and targets. So together, these pillars are these pillars connect the whole sustainability story. Who is overseeing it? How it's tied to the business, how risks are managed, and what is being measured. So, and the key point is this: investors don't just see what a company is doing, they see how well it's managing sustainability risk and opportunities across the business. And this structure turns SR from a collection of numbers into a clear strategic narratives. All right, great. But structure is just half of the story. What does this mean what does it mean to your for your P&L? So the strength of these four pillars is that they don't just organize information. They create a global way of reporting that everyone can understand. This means your investor, your lenders, and even your customers and also your employee can compare all these more consistently apple to apples. So the pillars also connect sustainability to financial impact. So they showed how things like climate risk, resource use, or workforce issues actually affect the revenue, the cost, resilience, and also long-term value. And because the ISSB is built on decision useful information, the focus is no longer on lengthy narrative, but on what truly helps stakeholders make informed decisions. So in short, the four pillars turns SR into something structured, comparable, and financially meaningful, not just a compliance exercises or a marketing tools. Okay, so let's start with the first pillar, governance. So it is about who is driving sustainability at the top. So this example shows what good governance looks like under ISSB. At EcoWorld. So EcoWorld is a property developer in Malaysia. For instance, the board doesn't just sign off policies. It reviews performance, considered climate risk in decisions, and approves ESG targets. So with a three-tier setup, board, sustainability committee, and the ESG working group. So sustainability is built into the business, not just kept in silo. So, and that tell investors one thing: the companies take it seriously with clear accountability at every level. So ISSB always start with governance because without oversight, data has no credibility. All right. So let's move to the second pillar, strategy. So look at Nestle. So they are not just reducing impact. They're not reducing impact just to tick the boxes. They have built sustainability right into their sourcing, their production, and product design. So when you do this, sustainability stops being a code and sustainability stop being a cost and starts generating core value. It helps you manage risk, drive innovation, and also beat the competition. So here you see sustainability fully integrated into long-term business strategy. Clear targets, clear timelines, and clear capital planning alignment. So under ISSB, so a company must explain how sustainability risks and opportunities shape their business model and future profitability, not just their values. So a quick reflection. How are sustainability risks and opportunities shaping your business today? So because that is exactly what investors and customers are starting to look for. Okay, so now let's move on to the third pillar, which is the risk management. This pillar is all about how well a company identifies and manages sustainability and climate related risks and how ready it is to respond when things changed. So take Singtel. So Singtel is a telco company in Singapore, a great example. So their process isn't a one-off audit. Is a systematic, continuous loop, moving from a rigorous identification and analysis right through to the actionable treatment. Not ad hoc reactions, not the one-off assessment, but a structured, repeatable systems. Identify, analyze, evaluate, treat, monitor, and report. And this structure shows that risk management isn't just about compliance, it's about staying one step ahead. So when done right, it helps company future-proof their business and turn risks into opportunities for the long-term growth. Okay, and finally, the last pillar, which is the metrics and targets, where sustainability becomes real and measurable with quantified metrics, time-bound targets, and also progress tracking. So look at Nestle Pakistan, for instance. So they have mapped out a solid path with a time-bound targets and quantitative metrics. So what matter most isn't just the ambition, but the consistency, tracking, reporting, and communicating progress. So this is how sustainability become auditable, comparable, and also decision useful. Okay, next, under ISSB, sustainability is no longer just about impact on the environmental or society. So it's about impact on business value. What do I mean? So if a sustainability issue can affect your revenue, your cost, your assets, your cash flow, or risk profile, it becomes financially material and must be disclosed. So that is why ISSB used the term sustainability related financial disclosure. So it means companies are expected to explain what sustainability risks and opportunities they face, how this could affect their financial position and future prospects, and how management is responding through strategy, risk management, and also targets. So under ISSB, climate change, resource scarcity, labor issues, or supply chain disruption are no longer treated as soft topics. So they are treated the same way as your interest rate risk, your currency risk, or credit risk as factors that can influence business performance, stability, and long-term value creation. So let's translate into real business situation. So these are not just hypothetical climate stories. These are exactly the type of disclosures investors and banks now expect under ISSB. So here is a simple example of a physical climate risk turning into a financial issue. So because of a heavier and more frequent rains in Guatemala, so coffee harvests are disrupted. So supply becomes less predictable and farmers face higher losses. So as a result, the importers has to pay about 10% more for coffee beans every raining seasons. So from ISSB perspective, this is not just an environmental story. It directly affects the company's financials. Cost of goods sold increases, your profit margins are squeezed, and earnings become more volatile because prices fluctuates seasonally. So under sustainability related financial disclosure, the company should explain what climate risk it is exposed to, how that risk affect procurement cost and margins, and how management plans to manage or mitigate this exposure in the future. Okay? So this example shows how climate-related events translates directly into operational and financial risks. So when flooding occurs, warehouses become inaccessible or congested. Parcels cannot be processed on time, creating backlogs and delivery delays. So though these delays lead to service penalties from corporate clients, and over the time, loss of customers who switch to more reliable providers. So financially, and this means immediate revenue loss from the penalties and cancelled contracts, higher operating costs due to overtime, temporary storage, or rerouting of deliveries, and longer term reputational damage, which affects future business and market share. So under ISSB, this type of exposure must be disclosed because it affects it affects cash flow, it affects your cost structure and the company risk profile, not just its environmental footprint. Okay, so before I move on to this slide, I want to share, but most of the cases that we have experienced at face is why companies a bit reluctant or scared to do disclosure because it will become like so transparent that they're afraid people will judge them, but that's not the case. It's a good thing to start disclosing because people see you that you're offering transparency, integrity, and you're showing action that you want to do something about it. But if you don't do something about it, have it documented, then how do we show and keep track of the improvement and handle all the risks and opportunities? Correct. So something for you to ponder. So now that we understand the why and the what, let's move on to the how. So for many companies, the hardest part is just knowing where to start. So here's a simple roadmap to help you get going. Think of SR as an ongoing cycle. So you don't need a 100-page report on day one. Start with what you already have, then build and improve over time. And remember, SR is a journey. It's about progress, not perfection. Each cycle helps you gain clearer insights and create stronger business value. So before you start the actual reporting process, so these three principles makes everything much easier. First, you start with what you already have. Don't overthink it. Just your electricity bill, your HR records, your field receipts, and vendor info are enough to begin. So second, don't aim for perfection in year one. Your first report will have gaps, and that's normal. Missing receipts, the information nowhere to be found. It's fine. So the goal is progress, not perfection. So, and the third is sustainability is a team effort. Finance, HR, operations, procurement, everyone plays a part. The earlier you involve them, the smoother it will get. So keeping these 3 rules in mind will set you up for a much more manageable and realistic reporting journey. So you cannot report meaningfully unless you first understand how your business actually creates value and where it is exposed. So ISSB always start with a business model and value chain because risks and opportunities are different for a factory, are different for a retailer, a bank, or even a logistic companies. So start by mapping your operation, where you operate, who your customers and suppliers are, and what external pressures exist. For example, like regulations, your customer expectations, or investor interest. So once you have mapped out your operation, the next step is to focus on your efforts, and that's where materiality comes in. So materiality means focus. So not everything is equally important. So under ISSB, an issue is material if it can reasonably affect your company's future cash flows, access to finance, or cost of capital. And that will be an issue. That will be a material issue. So the question is not what looks good to report, but what could move our financial performance or risk profile. Ask yourself, which ESG topic could most impact your business success or reputation? And what do your customers, investors, or regulators care about most? So after you have prioritized your key topics, the next step is to see what is already in your hand. So most organizations already have more data than they realize in finance, in HR, in procurement, in facilities, and operations. So the first task is not to create a new system, but to connect the existing one, identifying the gaps, and assign clear data ownership. So the next step is to set your baseline. So baseline data is your starting point. It allows you to answer one critical board questions. Where are we today? And how do we know if we are improving? So without baseline, targets have no credibility and progress cannot be demonstrated. So you can start simple. Monthly electricity bill, water, or fuel usage. So at this stage, don't stress about precision. What matters the most is consistency. Right? So once your baseline is in place, the next piece is teamwork. So finance can help with data, HR tracks social indicator, and operations know what's really happening on the ground. So even for smaller companies, appointing a sustainability champion can make a big difference in keeping things coordinated and moving forward. So this is about governance and accountability, not just data collection. Good. So with the right people in place, the next step is turning the data into action. So how do we do that? So a roadmap translates your ambition into a phased, realistic plan. So start small. Maybe it's switching to LED lights or cutting down on waste, and then work your way together towards a bigger goals like renewables or product design or product redesign. But this you have to start after you start doing sustainability reporting so that we keep track of what you have done before and after. So a simple, clear timeline helps make sustainability real, not just a buzzword, but part of everyday business planning. Okay, so once your roadmap is in motion, the next step is setting clear targets to guide your progress. So good targets are specific, measurable, and also time bound. Start simple, maybe a 5% cut in electricity use or recycling 30% of your waste. Start simple and easy. Right? So as your data becomes more consistent, so you can widen your KPIs to include social and also governance area too. So with your target in place, remember, it's all about progress, not perfection. ISSB is built on continuous improvement. So even a simple first year report helps build awareness and data discipline. So each cycle you improve, your data gets sharper, your story get clearer, and your team, very important, will be more invested in the journey. Trust me, they will find struggle, but they will also build their confidence and they will feel a lot fulfilled working in the company because it's for a bigger cause. So what matter is not where you start, but that you start early, build credibility and improve consistently. So early mover gains, better access to the capital, stronger customer trust, and also greater resilience to regulatory and also climate shocks. All right, great. So, of course, every journey comes with a few bumps, and that's perfectly normal. So, sometimes the data scattered, resources are tight, or management buy ins are still a work in progress. We understand. The key is to start with what you already have, build it into your daily routines, and take small steps. Even something as simple as tracking the like I've been repeating electricity use and showing savings can build momentum. So the good news is every challenge can turn into a practical next step. So most SMEs already have their data. It's just not all in one place yet. So don't worry about getting it perfect from day one. What matter is getting started. So for companies just starting, decided to start. So the first year is about building the foundation, not trying to do everything at once. So easy first year wins focus on action that are number one, low cost, number two, easy to measure, and clearly linked to the business efficiency. So start small and get the data discipline right, show the early results, and then build from there year by year. So at this stage, many companies ask a very practical question. How do we know whether our sustainability report is actually good? So a good sustainability report is not about being perfect. It's about being your data credible or not. Your data consistent or not. Let me compare and check first. And your data is decision useful or not. So weak report, on the other hand, are mostly storytelling. Wow, say until I very good, very good, very good, but there is no metrics. Overly positive with no risk disclosed. Wow, my company can do this. Wow, my company do that. Oh, our future very bright. But then no risk disclosed. Disconnected from business strategy, just purely marketing. All right, this is weak report. So the key idea is this. A good sustainability report builds trust because it is transparent, structured, and improvement focused, not because it looked glossy. So investors, banks, and regulators can tell the difference immediately because they are trained to check it based on the standards and they know what they're reading. So those who can provide credible data will stay in the value chain, and those who cannot, you will face higher financial cost or maybe be excluded from tenders. Who knows? All right, so once you have started, the journey does not stop there. SR isn't a one-time exercise, it grows and matures alongside your business. So the key is to weave it into your strategy, not treat it like a yearly checklist. The more you refine and improve, the stronger your resilience and credibility up become. So, and here's the real upside. So companies that start early learn faster, attract better partners, and unlock more long-term value. And so this is how reporting moves from compliance to value creation. So according to the BCG's 2025 private market report, sustainability initiatives are not a cost center. So companies directly credit them with driving a 4% to 7% uplift in the EBITDA. So EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So if you remember one message clearly from today, please let it be this. SR is no longer just about the reputation. It's about resilience. It's about access to capitals. It is about long-term enterprise value. So if you think SR is just merely compliance or is something just nice to do, think twice. It is more than that. So I think is all about today. So what I've shared is like a fundamental overview, get a big picture that what you will be getting yourself into. But don't worry if there is some element that you don't understand. We Eco Sustainability will walk hand in hand with you and help you go through all these processes together. So don't worry that you have to do it on your own. We will help you. So that's all from me. So let's start with the Q&A session, shall we, Heng Heng?
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Leisha, for this talk. Now it's time to open the floor. If you have any question or maybe one key takeaway you'd like to share before we wrap up. Sorry for the firecrackers. Anyone? Feel free to drop your question on the chat box.
Oh, so looks like no question. No questions means I can off my work early.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go. Yep.
Mm.
Now, okay, you see this the code. Now this is please WhatsApp scan this QR code to join our WhatsApp community. We do have a WhatsApp community, right? If you'd like to receive the latest updates on sustainability matter in Southeast Asia, and please remember to check all the messages in this community because sometimes we will throw out some surprises for everyone in the community. So which we will be sharing one good deal with you also right after this slide. Okay? Okay. As we prepared all this useful content for free, we have even more to share with you in our upcoming full day paid training in March this year. What we are offering are content we have spent thousands of hours to prepare and refine for all of you to trust us. Now, in the training, you will get the experience, you will get to experience and learn the practical application simulation, which we are not talking about the theory, but adding real practical applications simulations and also real case scenario discussion. We will share industry real case scenario insight. And also before the training, we will also send out questionnaire for participants to collect some critical concern in their company or industry so that we can use it in the training as well as a real case scenario. Also, we will have reality challenges in Southeast Asia and also the common misunderstandings and especially risk and opportunity because we always know about risk. At the same time, we wanted to hear more about the opportunity. How do you write on this business opportunity as well, right? And also community group latest update. Okay. A full suite. Thank you. Thank you. A full suite of the sustainability training value at dollar 50,000 is exclusively available to our registered member. Now this Sing dollar, right? This Sing dollar 50,000 is the entire A to Z training module. Like SR, like today what Alicia have shared with you, SR, what she shared is still have a lot more detail. Like that, let's say for example, if you needed to double click in it, then you want to know a little bit more detail when you come into the applications, right? You still have a lot more, right? So we will handheld one step by step with you. And also this will also including GHG. This will also including coaching. This will also including also mentorship, assurance, etc. and etc. and etc. a lot more, right? If you're interested in building a dedicated sustainability team for your country or company, please approach us. We can cater the full package for you. Now, for a powerful introduction, join our one-day intensive program on March 13. We have one March 13, 2026, where we will share carefully selected content from this premium package. The standard rate is just $250 per person for this whole full day from 9 to 5 Singapore time, right? Now register by 25th of February, right? To secure the early bird rate of today. There's a special live event flash offer, sorry. It's a special live event flash offer to thank you for being part of our free talks today. We have an exclusive buy one free one deal for just $250, right? So here is how it works. Scan the QR code to register, right? This the QR code that you see from the screen. Scan the QR code to register, and we will then send you the payment details. And complete your payment within 24 hours to lock in this order. Remember to secure your seat to get this buy one free one special deal by the payment, right? Now you can get to bring a friend along for free, completely free. This flash deal is for today only and is strictly limited to the first 8 person, right? The countdown starts now. 10, 9, 3. Okay, time's up. Thank you for everyone who registered. Now continue. I think Alicia, we moved on to next slide because all these free talks have already completed with this last year. And this slide, the one that the up and coming is on the 9th of February, right? Okay, on the 9th of February, there is one introduction to carbon accounting, right? The time is 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Singapore time. So please register that to come for that if you want to know more about the carbon accounting that you always hear us talking about, right? And also another free talk will be on 23rd of February, which is on Monday from 11 landscape in Southeast Asia. So come and join us and register, right, for this free talk. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining.